South Park: The End of Obesity is a cinematic masterpiece. The latest special has broken every controversial boundary due to the message it carries. On face value, it's intended to address the obesity crisis in the United States and the mainstream use of Ozempic. But on a closer look, the 50-minute full-length special also talks about drug and the consequences of obsession. This story opens up onto Greedy Farms, a cannabis farm owned by Randy and his wife Sharon. While sitting in a living room, Randy's daughter walks over in a crop top, exposing significant portion of her torso. Randy questions the little girl about her choice of clothing, which is obviously not appropriate for a girl her age. His daughter refuses to change into something less revealing and actually has a mom to support her choice of clothing.
Okay, cool. Then maybe I'll just wear whatever I want to school to come pick you up later. Go ahead!
After the back and forth, Randy goes over to Sharon and tells her something very peculiar. If you walk around wearing a shirt that exposes your belly, you end up with a group of people doing a bunch of drugs. Randy is surely in the right for wanting his daughter to dress decently, irrespective of what the other girls in the school are wearing. It's even telling of how many kids nowadays are influenced by what they see online by their idols and influencers. Later that day, Sharon grabbed a cup of coffee with a friend and they discussed how upset Randy was earlier that day. The moms all conclude that their daughters wearing crop tops to school isn't a big deal. But what's fascinating is the middle-aged moms in South Park who dress the same way because of the use of the new weight loss drugs. Not long after, another middle-aged woman joined their conversation. This woman has her torso exposed and is in great shape.
Oh yeah, just working out a lot, doing Pilates and stuff.
Uh-huh, sure.
Sharon and her friend knew it was a blatant lie because of the rampant use of weight loss drugs in South Park. Not long after, they are joined by other middle-aged women who are in the same type of clothing, torso exposed with a great shape. The funny part to this is that it's not even summer yet. The weather is relatively cold, but these middle-aged moms have decided to expose themselves to show how great their body looks. This is what we call vanity, excessive pride or admiration of one's own appearance or achievements. Vanity is a plague we must stay clear of. Today we see a lot of people going in for plastic surgeries they don't even need, distorting their bodies beyond imagination and shamelessly parading it online for all to see.
Has there been somebody in the public eye maybe that's been an inspiration to you? Is there a certain way or person you wanted to look like?
No one. I want to look like I am.
Damn! After Sharon and her friend leaves, the other middle-aged moms get talking, and there's where we get to know that they are all on weight loss drugs such as Ozempic, Wegovy, Zepbound, Mounjaro, and the rest.
Zepbound's the same as Mounjaro, but you don't have to have the diabetes to get it, right?
Now the difference between Ozempic and the other weight loss drugs is Ozempic is not a weight loss drug even though it's made up of semaglutides. It's a medication for diabetic patients, but the side effects can also let you shed off a few pounds. But the likes of Wegovy, Zepbound, and Mounjaro are purposefully meant for weight loss since they are very high in semaglutides. After a short discussion, the moms all agree to have a party where they'll be sharing the drugs amongst themselves, since drug abuse is better in pairs.
All the girls meet up and share drugs and talk about them. You gotta come. Okay, I will.
Randy goes to pick up his daughter after school, and we see how petty Randy is. He literally shows up in a crop top, full torso out, just to spite his daughter. As he was standing in front of the innocent kids, traumatizing them probably, he gets approached by one of the middle-aged moms in the beginning. Since he was dressed like her, she assumed Randy was also into weight loss drugs.
You're into the drugs?
Well, yeah, I'm into drugs.
The woman then invites Randy to come join the drug abuse party. Randy was obviously intrigued by the hot mom who had her body exposed and is in great shape, not knowing that what he said earlier on to his wife was beginning to manifest in his life.
If you walk around wearing a shirt that exposes your belly, you end up with a bad group of people doing a bunch of drugs.
This is why we have to pray against the spirit of self-sabotage and self-destruction. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Matthew 6:11. So at the said party, the middle-aged moms were having fun, networking and talking about how the weight loss drugs are getting scarce to purchase due to a crackdown by the FDA. They show little regard for people who actually need these drugs. All these women care about is their own selfish interest. To look good in a bikini on Wednesday is much more important than actually working out and staying off the weight loss drugs.
They're more for people with morbid obesity. I was like, I have to be in a bikini on Wednesday. You can morbid obesity my ass.
In a short while, Randy finally arrives at the party, and this is where everything starts to get dark. One of these women smuggled a 12-piece injection sample through customs from Mexico, and this is where the drag party starts. As all the women were getting jiggy with it, the moms began to pressure Randy to try their injection.
Bravo!
This simple action will send Randy down a path he never dreamt of. The very next morning, Randy has a conversation with Sharon, blatantly lied about where he went and what he was doing. As Sharon offered Randy breakfast, he rejected it, and this was a sign of the side effects of the drugs. One major effect of the Ozempic injection is that it suppresses your hunger and tricks your body to feel full. This gives the user willpower to eat less and in most cases lead to weight loss. At the dinner table, Randy was still not eating. This raised major concern from his wife as this was out of the ordinary for her husband. Sharon had a private talk with her husband to know what the matter was. Sharon asked Randy whether he's been doing those new drugs everyone's doing. Instantaneously, Randy gets very defensive.
Just because I don't eat as much as you, just because I'm doing Pilates, working out stuff, sorry, I don't eat as much as you do. I'm just trying to be better, not on drugs.
Even after all this, Randy still wears his crop top and heads straight to the drug house. At this point, we know the man is clearly addicted to these weight loss drugs. Addiction can either be physical or behavioral, and often they go hand in hand. Physical addiction can generally be grounded into three categories: alcohol, illicit drugs, and prescription drugs. In this case, we are dealing with prescription drug addiction, which is using approved medications in any way that has not been prescribed by a doctor.
Overdose deaths involving prescription painkillers have quadrupled to 16,000 since 1999, and now outnumber those from heroin and cocaine combined.
Millions of patients are routinely given prescription medicines every year to deal with things like pain, insomnia and depression. The problem is many of these treatments can be highly addictive, and now ministers fear we could well be heading in the same direction as the US currently in the group.
Sharon feels very bad about the back and forth with her husband, and this even makes her feel insecure about her own body. As Randy arrives at the hideout, he gets a shocking news that
We have a big problem. There's no more drugs.
in the heat of the moment, one woman suggests they go and rob a pharmacy and take the drugs by force. People who are addicted to drugs tend to become violent and irrational once their supply is cut. As Randy tried to be rational, the odds were strongly against him, and in the end, the final decision was made. The gang began to terrorize the local pharmacies in South Park.
Come on, get the drugs and let's get out of here.
Even though being part, Randy still didn't feel good about what he has gotten himself into.
I think maybe you've just fallen in with a bad group of people.
Yeah, in a bad group of people doing a bunch of drugs.
As Sharon was back home contemplating on whether to use the Ozempic or not, Randy barged in on his wife attempting the same drug which has messed up his life.
It's time for me to tell you the truth. I told you that I've been going out on hikes and doing Pilates, but it's not true. I've just been doing that shit.
Shawty say she no go up in for the bros. My bros know they play, they go up in and toss. I am one of they if you want make you more fuck to the mat.